Hi everyone, you're watching Forex, and in this video I'm going to talk a little bit of how to work with stops, how my system works with stops, because a lot of you are asking where I place stops and how do I recover from the losses, because you know that I use channel strategy and I'm placing pending orders and I'm only taking 10 pips half positions, and the rest of it I usually run with either trailing stop or placing the stop loss behind the price on the safe position. So, and many of you are saying that I have stop is bigger than the take profit, and which I'm saying it's not. Here is a bit interesting way you get more smaller profits, and of course if you get the stop could be less than how many profits you already made, instead of sitting and waiting for a big move. And but there is also a system. It's not exactly okay. I'll try to explain. So it's like pretty much no losing system, which I do also use. And like one of them, like I'm saying, it's like sometimes I don't place the stops, I'm just watching the market and I know where the market goes and I don't want it to hit, because quite often there are some jumps out from the consolidation area, and of course it can get you into the trade you don't want to be in, right, or hit your stop. So like for example here you can see all the swings that I'm talking about. Sometimes they just jump and come back in your consolidation and then it goes the other direction. So, and that's why it's like I do like the stops, I don't like stops, and there are pluses and minuses. But let's talk about using the stops, okay, and how to recover from the loss. So that's pretty much like no lose system, but of course it all depends on how big your account. And I'm saying on a bigger account, of course, it works better because you increase the lot size, and but the market will always get out from the consolidation area, right? And so that means you always have an opportunity to cover your loss and come out with some profit. So it's all individual, and you need to, of course, use money management. How big your account, how big your leverage, and it's not very good for very small accounts. Small accounts, I say, how I used small accounts I was growing it. I was using it, trading it on news events a long time ago. But right now news events are not as the same and the market is changing. So let's talk about my strategy, right? Because that's the questions with the stops and how to recover. You know that I like to use consolidations and I like to use channels. That's the main thing. I also use the other patterns, but my favorite, of course, is the channels. And the first video I made with my channel strategy, remember, it was on the 15-minute chart, only 10 pips roughly, no bigger 11 maybe pips channels we were looking at. But now the times changed and I'm trading on 30 minutes 1 hour charts where I'm looking for about 20 pips width of the channel. Okay, 20 pips. Slightly less, it could be up to 15, 18, but the perfect would be 20, maybe 21, 22, like I'm saying 19, but 30 would be like the top. So how to place the orders? So what I do, I place buy stop and sell stop, right? So here's the example of the Australian dollar. That's the beautiful channel. If you follow me in my groups in Telegram and Facebook, I showed it to you, and of course I placed it, but I don't know if some of you did the same. So you would say, okay, you had a losing trade, so what's next? What should I do? So here I will tell you what I do. Okay, is one of the systems. So look, if I have, like I say, 20 pip roughly channel, I have 20 pip pending order, sell, stop. Okay, I do not sell straight away, it's a pending order here, right? And I also have a pending order buy stop, which is above, right? So 20 pips. Usually I place it with my EA, so you don't see it on the charts. I usually just like place it with the levels, right? So I put it in here, and I put another one in here. So just get stuck a little bit down. Okay, so and it's not visible, right? It's not visible in the system, and it's 20 pips up and 20 pips down. So this is the channel. So I'm just showing you the borders, right? So that's how I do it. And so what happens with this consolidation? So I'm using this area for get into the trade, and if I get into the trade, I'm using exactly the same area to get out from that bad trade and cover the loss if I make, right? Remember, I was telling you, okay, so it went down, it probably will go back and it will continue the way up, or it can just have a, like it's called retest, right? So it's jumped, retested, and continue the way. So that's why we need to have a stop above, okay, above the border. It's the same with the patterns, it has to be above something. So here I'm using 20. So if here you see it took me in, it's turned around, so exactly 60 pips, I'm placing my pending order, right? 20 pips, 20 the width of the channel, and another 20 pips of the next pending order. So that's how it works. So it stops with loss and buys at the same time. So I'm expecting it to continue the way up. So if it's not, I'm going back down, I'm placing again 20 pips, sell order, and of course when it turns around it hits my stop, okay, and it takes me into another order and continue the way, and I'm trying to cover my loss, okay, and come out with the trade. So that's pretty much it. It's very easy, okay. You say, okay, but what type of lot size, right? So now let's just have a look at a quite, let's say, rules of the market. We know it will always come out, right? It will always come out. And what I do, okay, I'm going, as I'm giving an example in Australian dollar, and you can do, you know, my favorite is euro dollar, and it works quite good on it because it has smaller spread than compared to other pairs. But I have an example this time on the account to show you the trade. So any pairs you can do, so you can see what's the average of the minimum and the maximum distance in let's say a week, right? So we're looking at it's 140, and of course I don't want to look at the big one because I know, but we're looking at like the worst one. Let's say worst one we do have like about 60. Okay, so how often it's 60? Here 60, you see, but the next one is quite big. Before it was about 100 pips, right? So I'm looking at another one once again. I'm doing slightly below the wings because the wings, you know, they are not as good and accurate. They can take you into the trade, they might not take you in the trade, they might not close because it could be very fast and jump out, jump in, and not close your trade and not take you. That's why pretty much I'm looking more bit lower bodies of the candle. So we're looking once again. So what do we have? 120 pips, right? So we're looking once again in here. Let's say what do we have? Again, 140 pips. So roughly on a good week, we do have quite good movements, except on some weeks we don't. It could be 60. So what does it tell you? It tells you that from any consolidations, we will eventually get out. We will get out from it, but it might take a few days. It might take a couple of weeks, but it's not months, isn't it? It's just maybe 1-2 weeks. Okay, 1 week might be bad, another week may be very good. So that's the example of what happened with Australian dollar. And so that's what I'm saying pretty much. So so what do I do? Of course, for me, for example, when I got into the bad trade, right, I placed the order starting here 0.02. This is the small account, not very big. It's 3,850. So that's why I'm starting with only 0.02. I can't start at 0.01 because, you know, I'm splitting. Yeah, I'm splitting half positions. That's why my minimum lot is 0.02. Plus this also trade the other trader who also provides some signals right now in my groups. He's also trading the same account, so that's why of course we need to see what he trades. I can't place all of my trades, I can't place some of the trades because he has open positions, right? So that's why we are counting, bearing in mind they also have very quite narrow shoulder leverage, 1 to 100. It's not very big, so that's why we can't place big lots, right? And also we're trying to trade safe, and that's how you should really do it. Do not think that to place big lots. Of course everybody wants to make a lot, but if you want to trade it safe and you want to make something from it, that's the best way. So to go with smaller lots, do not expect a big profits. Okay, of course the big account will be bigger lots because you protect it with the bigger account, but if you have small account, you're only going to look at the smaller lots. Of course you can take chances, you can do betting, all of this sort, but we're talking about quite safe, calm trading. Okay, so that's why, as you can see, even with this, you see how the lot size is increased. So here's a increase in the lot size. Everybody has to decide for themselves, like I just said. It depends on money management and the size of your account and the conditions of the account and what you can do. So my first original order was, you see, 0.02. So okay, so it's turned around, and obviously my next order is a bit bigger, which is here is 0.06. Well, obviously we've seen that the market can move up to 120 pips. That means pretty much I don't need to increase that lot size, right? Originally, if I want to wait for the market to move 120 pips, that means I need from here to move 60 pips, right? From that position to cover the loss, because I moved 60 pips, I lost $12. Okay, with the same lot size, if I will buy and it moves 60 pips, I will cover it. Will be $12, right? If there would be no minus swap. Of course, bear in mind, if it's going to take a few days or more, of course, see the swaps, and maybe it would need to be more than 60 pips, increasing slightly, like 70 pips, right? With the same lot size, it's quite possible to recover it. So, but as we saw, 120 pips can take quite a while, and because of the swaps we want it a little bit faster. So of course you can then decrease the distance, right, from this 20 next my entry point. Maybe I would want it to move only 30 pips. That means I need to increase the lot size, right? So from 0.02 I need to increase it even more. Maybe I would look at 40 or 50, again depends, right, how big the account. Can I do so? What other positions I have? But the bigger distance you're going to have, the smaller lot size you will have. So originally I actually use here another software now, EA, which I'm trying to now to ask the programmer to build in together with my line trade, which has already been done by this programmer, as a complete recovery system, which means I would only place my orders, right, and wherever it has a good or bad, it will recover automatically. So I don't have to sit and calculate myself the size of the lot, right? So you can do it all manually. That's how I used to do, half automatically placing that, but recovering manually, calculating what I need to do, also see how many already profitable trades I made. But in this situation, I'm trying to just rely on recovery software to do it itself, because I don't want to, all the time to be at the screen and watch it and, follow it much. So that's why I'm going to test it on this account, and we will see how it will work. I'll share it with you guys, the details and results of our experiment. It's pretty low shoulder, and I never done it like this. I'm not going to touch it. So, which I don't really like it. I'm getting nervous with this because, sometimes like it might not get you out of the trade because of slipperage or big spread. That's why I like to keep an eye on it to see if it's not getting out with my EA, I'm doing it manually, okay, or moving the stop manually too, to get more profit. So that's why I don't know, can I trust it or not? We will see it, right? So we will try to see it, and that's all I want to do. So, but now I'm going to tell you. You see, first I thought I placed in the software 30 pips, okay, only movement I need to cover that loss I made. And you see, it gave me a quite big lot size, so it's calculated itself. It's just trying to recover, and it gave me like next lot size. I think that was the no, it was 26, 0.26. You see, it's a very big lot size, so that's why I increased the distance to 40, and it gave me like 16, 0.16. So then I increased distance to a little bit more, up to like 50, and it gave me a little bit more reasonable lot size. You see, that's why I'm saying you need to be reasonable and see if it's because you see what can happen in this situation is that it might not get out straight away, right? We had loss and it might not go the other way enough distance. This can happen, and actually this can happen a few times. To be honest, I looked at euro dollar pretty much, and I didn't check every single pair, but I would consider it could happen on euro dollar. I was counting in some years up to 6 attempts it can do. So 6 times it could come out and get in and come out and take you in one order, in another order, in another order, and then make a move. But eventually it still makes a move. But these attempts, it could be few of them and for few days. Okay, so it's quite dangerous in this respect. But if you are reasonable with your lot sizes, you understand, you will come out. It will get out from that consolidation and it will move enough. Like I'm saying, you might wait just for this more 50, 100 pips you will wait, but with all the swaps, that's why I'm trying to reduce, and I will try to make maybe the distance put like up to 40, maybe 50 pips from the entry point. Okay, and we will see if it will work, just because to test what the better settings is going to be. Okay, working with this software automatically. Okay, not watching it like this, but see if it will happen. So you see, that's what, and pretty much these things, low movements, it can happen during the times, like I'm saying, not the best times of the year, like Christmas time, Easter time. So you better maybe just do not trade those times. You see, I took the risk, and also remember my when I'm showing you, giving my levels, I'm pretty much like trying to show you and tell you that to place them and correct them before the European session opens. So here it is still during the Asian session. You see, if I would have placed it my orders after Asian session, then I probably wouldn't be in a trade. Okay, so because it's already run away. But it all depends. It depends. You want to do it or not. But with this recovery, it could be, doesn't matter. Okay, get one stop, get another stop, but finally recover it. So that's what I'm going to try and test and see how it's going to work. But that's how to work with stops. Now you understand what I'm trying to say and how to cover the losses. So as you can see this example, you see that's the first I placed 0.02, then the second one you see was buy here, so it hit me. You see that's just a little, that's why I don't really like this much. It's too close. You know, when you have these wings and they get you into this, that's why I'm saying there are pluses and minuses of placing the stops. But anyway, you see I had another one and then there is another loss and plus swap. So you see the next order was 0.10. Okay, so it was another pending order sell at 0.10. So I had two losses, and finally the system recovered me. I come out with a very small profit in this time. I will try with this new EA altogether to try to cover the loss and also get out with some profit, because in here it was just trying to get out to cover the loss and without getting out with the profit. So that's pretty much how it works. You can see even with such bad trading time, when the market doesn't move much because of these holidays, Easter holidays we had, it's still possible to trade. As you can see, it's all possible if you're reasonable. It's possible still have some profit. So well, I wanted to show you right now. I'm going to show you just without any commenting at the end. You will see it's a little bit speed up of that it was happening, okay, in reality, how it went in, out, and covered up and closed with the profit. So I hope you understood what I was trying to tell you, where I place the stops and increasing the lot sizes, how and why. Okay, and understand, because you know I don't prepare for all these videos usually, just trying to explain to you how it all works and how to try to work around it, and of course be reasonable. Okay, so thank you for watching, guys. And if you think the video was useful, don't forget to, of course, like it, subscribe, join one of my groups. You can join in the Telegram, which is Jana FX, and also Facebook. And if you're Russian speaking, it's also, I'm making it in Russian, which is in Contact. And also, well, Facebook is also English Russian. Anyway, so that's it for now. Don't forget to subscribe, and happy trading. I see you next time. Bye everyone.